Good day, everyone. I am Miguel Lopez from Bapos 3, and today I am here with Miss Jana Burgos to tackle about the psychobiography of Emilio Aguinaldo. Emilio was born on March 22, 1869, in Cavite El Viejo, Cavite, Philippines. Came from a prominent and wealthy family. He was the seventh of eight children born to Carlos Aguinaldo E. Hamir and Trinidad Fami E. Villanueva. His family was deeply rooted in the local community, with his father serving as the gobernador silio, or which is the chief executive or the town mayor. Uh, this exposure to local governance likely sparked Emilio's early interest in politics. And also, the Aguinaldo family was part of the Chinese mestizo minority, which contributed to their social standing and economic success. Their wealth and influence allowed them to provide a comfortable upbringing for their children, including Emilio. The family's adherence to Roman Catholicism was a significant aspect of their lives, shaping their values and beliefs. Emilio's upbringing in a politically active and well-connected family set the stage for his future role as a prominent figure in the Philippine Revolution. As we next to the our third slide is the psychobiography of Aguinaldo was based on Erik Erikson's work. Sino nga ba itong si Erik Erikson? He was a renowned psychologist. Ito nga, Erikson used Mahatma Gandhi's life, which he mainly focused on his early identity formation that shaped his leadership. He also studied Gandhi's life, focusing on how his early experiences, especially his struggle with identity, influenced his leadership. Erickson argued that Gandhi's psychological makeup was crucial to his success in leading the Indian independence movement. Similarly to Aguinaldo, Erickson believed that Gandhi's leadership was affected by psychological factors. Ito yung nagle-led kasi or which led to Indians independence movement. If we were here to apply Erickson's method to Aguinaldo, the passage suggests that a similar approach can be applied to Aguinaldo. It proposes that by examining Aguinaldo's personal struggles and psychological factors, we can gain insight into his historical impact, particularly in his role in the Philippine Revolution. As we move on to the life events and their impact, as Spanish pressure grew, Aguinaldo's revolutionary leadership was eventually forced to flee to the mountain settlement of Biak na Bato. Faced with Spanish military pressure, Aguinaldo retreated to Biak na Bato where he negotiated a truce called the Biak na Bato Pact. The Biak na Bato Pact, which General Emilio Aguinaldo negotiated, stated that in the event that Aguinaldo went into exile, the Spanish would grant the Philippines self-rule within 3 years. Itong Biak na Bato Pact, pinapromise kasi nito sa Pilipinas na magkakaroon tayo ng 3 years na self-rule in exchange for Aguinaldo's na mag-exile siya sa Hong Kong. So yun na nga, Aguinaldo was sent to Hong Kong on December 14, 1897, along with a few members of his revolutionary administration. His approach, how this conflict, which he agreed to a truce, was a pragmatic attempt to gain time and resources. He showed practically and balanced idealism in his hand. Yun nga, ang desisyon ni Aguinaldo na tanggapin itong pag-exile sa kanya ay isang practical or nahakbang upang magkaroon din siya ng oras at mga mapagkukunan siya ng mga resources na nagpapakita ng kanyang balance ng idealism tsaka ng practicality, which is yung idealism is in achieving independence and yung practicality is yung pag-preserve ng forces.
So at this point, we're gonna discuss the turning points of where Emilio Aguinaldo's decisions were affected the Philippine history. So in 1901, when the US troops captured him, he showed resilience by choosing to pledge allegiance with the US instead using armed resistance. We can view this as a pragmatic coping response in an overwhelming situation. So, itong sitwasyon na kung saan na-capture na siya ng US troops, instead of maglaban pa, kumbaga kung nasa sitwasyon ka to choose between life or death situation, or makikipaglaban ka pa ba or susunod ka na lang. Parang ganun na yung point. That's why nasabi na it is a pragmatic coping response. His decision avoided further bloodshed between Filipino and US troops and focused on peaceful approach in securing the autonomy of the Philippines. Aguinaldo's leadership was criticized when he collaborated with the Japanese during World War II, although historians see this as one of his coping mechanisms and a form of flexibility in his leadership. We can be seen his spirituality as one of his coping mechanism, which was stated earlier that he was born into a Roman Catholic family, and his faith may have helped him to gain strength and comfort during darker periods of his career. So these darker periods that I've said are the adversities and significant emotional strain as he was being linked to the death of his fellow revolutionary figures such as Andres Bonifacio and the famous General Antonio Luna. They were both killed under the controversies which Aguinaldo is implicated in. Events can't be denied added to Aguinaldo's emotional burden, and he seldom expressed any emotions about the events in the public. To summarize Emilio Aguinaldo's early life and family dynamics, he came from a relatively wealthy and politically connected family. That's why he fostered this sense of leadership and responsibility a bit too early, and obviously he witnessed this leadership style from his father, the way his father lead, as well as take note that his father is a local town mayor, so that's a big position that time during their time, and their family was an important figure in their community those times. And growing up, he was involved in local politics, obviously, and this point, it might have shaped Aguinaldo's strong sense of duty and national consciousness. No, his father's death. My partner, Mr. Lopez, haven't mentioned it earlier, but it's in our paper. His death, it affected Aguinaldo as a teenager, and it pushed him. For me, it pushed him to do leadership roles because he then helped his mother to manage their agricultural estate, their business. Um, and that part, it influenced his involvement in politics and revolutionary activities as well. And to sum up his psychosocial development, since we we stated that we use Eric Erickson's psychosocial theory, it emphasizes Aguinaldo's identity, autonomy, and leadership. No, compared to Sigmund Freud's child development theory, uh, we we focus more on the excuse me, we focus more on the development of Aguinaldo throughout his life. That's why it's more comprehensive. um, it also focused on Aguinaldo's social and emotional aspect when he was still teenager, because as we mentioned, open to politics and family involvement or engagement early in his part of his life. So an adolescent, being a youth, uh, there's a sense of this nationalist sentiments growing on his ego that likely to shape his identity as a Filipino patriot. No, he was involved in Katipunan. He eventually rise as a leader, and that uh, that may came to a point where Emilio Aguinaldo, and Andres Bonifacio had a rival, some sort. Additionally, there's this the early leadership as a young man. If we are not mistaken, his as early as 20s, he joined the revolution, and his involvement in major decisions such as the Pact of Biak na Bato, it likely caused him an internal conflict and guilt, as it's stated in Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory. Additionally, yung sa kay Erik Erikson's theory, yung trust and versus mistrust, pinapakita din dito na si Aguinaldo na navigate niya yung relationship niya with other foreign powers. Additionally, in his later years, Aguinaldo role shifted from the active military leader to elder statesman. He withdrew from the public eye, but continued to advocate for national causes, such as promoting national unity and independence. Meron tayong tinatawag na moral dilemmas. So, yung involvement daw ni Aguinaldo sa execution ni Andres Bonifacio, it reveals an important aspect of his psychological struggle with leadership. Dun pa lang makikita mo na. His decision to eliminate a political rival indicates a tension between idealism of the revolution and the harshness of the reality in leadership. Such actions might have haunted Aguinaldo later in life. To conclude, for the majority of his life, Aguinaldo had fought free the Philippines from Spanish rule and later American imperialism. He thought that rather continuing to be ruled by the United States or other Western nations, collaboration with Japan could result in Philippines attaining sovereignty under Japanese influence. Despite the controversies, he is still seen as the key of Philippine independence. But we still cannot deny this gray area was in fact a subject of debate. That will be all, guys, for the Emilio Aguinaldo psychobiography. Thank you for listening.